Greetings and welcome to another, unfortunately, Alpha 16 video in 7 Days to Die. So I've just come back from my nice long holiday and I was expecting Alpha 17 to be out so that I could pump out some tests and tutorials and guides and just checking out the new content. Unfortunately, Alpha 17 was delayed because of Unity engine upgrades, which of course is good that they're fixing it. We wouldn't want them to release a broken version, but it means obviously I can't test it out. So I thought, why not do a walkthrough of my tutorial base, or tutorial world rather. This is where I've been doing most of my guides and tutorials, all except maybe one or two. So I have a full playlist of guides and tutorials. You can check that out to view those. I'll probably link that in the description below. And if you enjoy them, don't forget to like and subscribe and toggle that notification bell so you actually get notified of new videos. So I thought I'd just start here with, my farm, or Trader Joel's farm, where I did my farming tutorial. And I thought this one turned out pretty nicely and it's been pretty well received as well. I mean, farming is something that is, it's not strictly necessary. You can survive without it, but it usually is the best way to just keep food. And if you know how to do it, you can end up having a lot of food early on. So this is where it was at, and Trader Joel helped me build it. And let me get on my, before I get on the mini bike, this is one of the things that I hope they will fix in Alpha 17. Not having vehicles sink into the ground. I mean, that was a big problem with Alpha 16, that vehicles would sometimes inexplicably sink down into the ground. And of course you can dig them out, but you shouldn't have to do that. So hopefully they fixed that with the new terrain physics and the vehicle physics. So let me get on my mini bike here and let me drive the long road to my main base. And this is the entrance. And you can see it's got a couple of entrances. One is the bike evader or hatch evader, which is courtesy of Jerva as far as the bike evader goes. And this is my main entrance that I also had in a couple of the videos. And I put it out, just to have a nice place and with some motion sensor, turret and everything, just to protect against the zombies. Not that they normally do anything. Of course, I also have a way up, and instead of having stairs and everything, I thought just make a hatch evader here because it makes it pretty simple. And of course, you can always, some remnants for, oh yeah, this is where I was testing out or making the guide for doing the how to connect the wire the maximum distance. But let's skip that for now and let's walk over to, let's skip this part for now as well and walk over to, this is actually the earliest part of the whole installation, because this is where I started making the tests for the dart traps. And I had the different setups here. I had just running on the, running past here, running on the trigger plates, and just being outside door, for instance, or iron bars, and see how that worked. I then continued. I did more with a blade trap, and I was coming up with different ways of making effective ways of using your blade traps, and that's can be a little bit tricky. And what else did I do? I think that's just outside. I did another one which having the blade traps in the walls, and the final one, this one I tested all my turrets. Now I was setting this up just to be able to spawn zombies and have them come out sort of one by one. It's a bit of a problem sometimes, because one thing I noticed, if I spawn a lot of zombies here, the turret would sometimes be able to detect them through gaps. So I doubled up, you see I got one here and one here. If I had single ones, the turrets would sometimes be able to pick them up even through a wall. I think that because of maybe the hitbox or the visual boxes is not quite out to the edges, so the turret is very effective. You can sort of see it through the microscopic atom here in between the blocks, and that was a bit of a trouble when I was doing the testing. And of course I had more space to expand here, which I didn't have to do. I also had, let me see here, I had a bit of a square here where I did my test with the different groups of zombies against the shotgun turret and the auto turret, which went pretty well. Of course I had space to do more because I also had my drop shoot here, and I had a turret here somewhere to kill them, but I think maybe it's that one. But let's go up here to the control room. And let's close this. So this is my control room. And I did some testing here where I think it was the zombie damage. And of course I had switched to turn on the turret, and I had a way to just get rid of the zombies, to drop them down to the previous room where they would get killed. And of course some chests with things. Every house or base needs a bit of a bedroom, so I had that here as well. And one thing I was expecting someone to notice is that I had a coffin here as well. Of course it's empty, I don't keep any bodies there, I eat them all up. And of course, big screen TV. And here's why I was doing a lot of testing, because I needed a big space here. And I never really decorated very much, but it was a good place to just put things down. And of course, I made my bike evader here with hay bales at the bottom so that you could just walk in or drive in, step up here, close, and you would be up at the base as well. And this works pretty well. I mean, even if you have a very tall one, this is actually a very effective way of doing it. I wish there were elevators so that you wouldn't have to necessarily make these hatch evaders, because it would be really cool to have maybe a 2x3 or something, or a block size elevator that you can do these shafts with, because now you end up having either this kind of, which is, it's a little bit of an exploit unfortunately, but the alternative is to have a lot of stairs, which just takes up a lot of space and just you have to run around and run up, or you have to have ladder, which is, you know, kind of boring to have everywhere. So from here, let me go north and we get to where I was building out the different segments of my, well, I did the advanced cop trap, which is here. And let's not fall down there, but let's walk down here. Where I tested this out, and this actually works really well. This general design of having, let's see, having the dart traps and having the blades here, and of course the electric fences, is really, really useful because they can really tear down the zombies really fast, and even if they're radiated feral cops. Of course, expanding this one to having 2 or 3 aside is really powerful as well, because then you can sort of get more zombies without them just wearing down the durability of one of the blade traps. And so I did these different quadrants. So I had the one here, which I think had the tripwire and the electric fences and nothing else. I did the next one, which had, oh yeah, the blade traps, of course, and of course electric fences. This was the electric blade wall, I believe. Let's go over here. The third side was the electric dart wall, which of course has the electric fence. I always use that one if I can with dart traps. And then the final one was the one with the turrets. Of course, this is the one that requires the most resources, because it's got the dart traps, it's got the turrets, and they bleed through a lot of ammo. But it's really powerful, obviously, but you know, then you need to have the ammo as well. So I had another base, and let's see if I can move over there as well before it takes too long. And this is the best horde base ever. Let's see if I can find it. I wish that they implement a distant POI for even player created items. You know, have a process run, you know, even triggered by the admin or something, or you know, whenever the game is not heavily utilized, so you can see them. Because you know, you look here, it's like you can't see your own base, but you can see all these other ones, so it looks like it's empty. And it would be nice to be able to see your own base even in the distance. So this is one of the more recent one of my tutorial guides, where I walked through of how to make this one. And this one works really, really well. I mean, I played this through a max game stage, which is something like 4,000 plus at 64 concurrent zombies, and they didn't break through. I mean, I did some shooting myself just to keep myself occupied. But, you know, they break a little bit here, and that was a huge horde, but they didn't break through the walls at all. So it's really, really powerful. And even if they had broken through, and this is, you know, where I was standing, even if they had broken through, I could still, let's see if I can get there. Is it here? Nope. One of the signs has, oh yeah, this one. I still have my drop trap here. So even if they do break through here, they will still fall down into here, where they will get massacred by, you know, all the electric fences and the turrets that I have placed as well. And this is also a good place to stand and loot. Not that they ever come down here. I mean, when I ran it at a max game stage, and 64 concurrent zombies, which is really high. They couldn't break through, which means they're not going to get through and fall down here anyway. But yeah, it's still good to have just in case. Maybe you're idling or something where the zombies manage to somehow break through, or you ran out of ammunition on your turrets, because this one relies on use the dart traps, they use electric fences, it uses the blade traps, which tend to get broken. Let's see this one. Yeah, they get broken down because of all the radiator feral cops. And this is a question that some people have: how do I make this fly? And the trick is really that in between here and here, there's actually no airspace blocks. So this one is the furthest way, this ladder, and same thing with this siding, is actually hugging this block wall. This is a metal siding which is hugging this block wall. But there's nothing in between as far as blocks, because this is one block and this is one block. So from a game structural perspective, it just, it doesn't care whether the model is on one side or whether it takes up the whole side. So this model has the same structural ability as a metal block, for instance, that is taking up the whole space here. So it's sort of a visual exploit, if you put it that way, which can be very useful at times. Bit of an exploit, but it helps you build nicer things, and it doesn't really hurt. So this is, I did have a couple of other things. I had I had my treehouse base, which I think was it down here? I had a treehouse base somewhere else. Well, I can't remember where that was, because I was flying around and putting things. Oh, maybe it's here. Let's go and check. Is this my treehouse base? Yes, it is. So this is my treehouse base as well, and all my testing with platforms and everything. And I think this one turned out pretty nicely. I mean, it's quite a useful way to make a treehouse base, and it can handle hordes, because they end up just running around here. As long as the cops don't see you, because if they see you, they will start shooting at you. And of course, wood doesn't protect you very much against the vomit. And if they explode, which also happen, they'll take out the trees and everything will fall down. So of course you don't want that to happen. So that's about a walkthrough of my tutorial base, and hopefully Alpha 17 is coming soon. I saw some reports on Reddit that some emails out to some streamers and everything, that it might come in the second week of September, after the weekend of, I think 7, 8 or something of September. So possibly on the 10th of September, we'll see. So I've had a great time in Alpha 16, but it's time for a new version. You need some new features. You need to improve the exploration. You need new vehicles, and you really need to fix the zombie AI. And I think they recruited one, I think maybe more than one, zombie AI developer, and I think that's helped to resolve a lot of the problems that the zombie AI has had so far. And of course, there's going to be a lot of other features. I know they've changed a lot of the POIs. Really made them more dungeon-like as far as exploration. I think that's really cool. Of course, some unfortunate drops have also occurred. Bandits are not making its way in, unfortunately. No NPC communities, because I was hoping you're going to get some NPC communities, maybe some companions. It's not in. You don't have the zipline, you don't have the behemoth, but at least you have the upgrade to the new Unity engine, which hopefully is a great change. I mean, hopefully it improves the performance, lighting, and making it more of a polished experience, as well as allowing the developers to just press forward to add features and just polish the game and make it play better. So what are you looking forward most in Alpha 17, and what are you sad is not included this time? Well, let me know in the comment section below, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you again next time.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.